Hey everyone, welcome back to LilyTube. I'm Jeff.
And I'm Cathy. We are single life and relationship coaches who have been through the ups and downs of dating after divorce. We eventually found each other, and now we're here to help you navigate relationships with wisdom and grace.
Today, we're tackling a major relationship hurdle, blame, and it's all Cathy's fault. Oh, that knee-jerk reaction that we all have when something goes wrong, and let's be honest, it can feel really satisfying in the moment to blame somebody else, right?
Yes, but here's the problem. Blame keeps us stuck in frustration, resentment, and conflict. Instead of solving the issue, it pushes people apart. So today, we're talking about how to shift from the instinct to blame towards a solution-focused mindset, because that's what actually helps us and our relationships to grow.
Before we dive in, let's talk about Brene Brown, because she's had a huge impact on the way the world right now understands blame and vulnerability and relationships.
Brene Brown is a researcher and storyteller who has spent over 2 decades studying courage, vulnerability, shame, and empathy. She's a professor, best-selling author, and a well-known speaker. Her TED Talk on vulnerability is one of the most watched TED Talks of all time.
One of the things she teaches is that blame is the opposite of accountability. It's a tempting way to deal with the discomfort without really addressing our own part in it.
Blame is simply the discharging of discomfort and pain. It has an inverse relationship with accountability.
Brene goes on to say, accountability by definition is a vulnerable process. And who really wants to be vulnerable when we're already feeling uncomfortable?
And that brings us to one of her funniest stories, where she talks about how she immediately blamed her husband, Steve, for spilling her own coffee, even though he wasn't even there.
How many of you are blamers? How many of you, when something goes wrong, the first thing you want to know is whose fault it is? Hi, my name is Brene. I'm a blamer.
Her story, which you can find in a link to the show notes, is hilarious, but also relatable. We've all had those moments where something goes wrong and our first instinct is to find someone, anyone, maybe someone who's not even there, to blame.
But here's the problem. Blame doesn't solve anything. It doesn't clean up the coffee. It doesn't make us feel better in the long run. And it certainly doesn't bring us closer to the people we love.
In my article, Beyond Blame, Nurturing Relationships in the Inferno of Frustration, I shared an analogy. Imagine your house is on fire, but instead of working together to get out safely, you and your loved ones stand there arguing about who caused the fire.
Please, Mr. Randall, you have to call in the fire station.
Don't tell me what to do. You should be grateful I even pushed the date to fix this little fire of yours.
It sounds ridiculous, right? But we do this in relationships all the time. Instead of addressing the problem, we get stuck in the blame game.
Exactly. Blame distracts us from what actually needs to be done to solve the problem. Instead of asking, whose fault is this? We would all be better asking, how do we move forward together?
Blame doesn't just slow down problem solving, it destroys connection. Dr. John Gottman, another relationship researcher, calls blame a predictor of divorce. It triggers defensiveness, which shuts down communication and builds resentment.
And that's especially dangerous when you're in a new dating relationship or a newly blended family where trust is still being built. If one partner always feels like the bad guy, how likely are they to be open and cooperative? How likely are they to say, gee, I'm sorry, if they know the other person's already pointing the finger?
Right, not very likely. Instead, they'll more likely shut down or fight back, making things even worse.
Ironically, blame tends to trigger defensiveness in the other person. So how do we move beyond blame? The key is empathetic communication. That means expressing your feelings and needs without attacking your partner.
Here's an example. Instead of saying, "You never listen to me," which is blame, try, "I feel unheard when we don't talk things through. Can we find a way to improve our communication?" which is a request.
Notice the difference? One approach puts your partner on the defensive while the other invites more collaboration.
When we lead with empathy and give one another grace, We create a space where both partners can take responsibility without feeling attacked. That's where the real healing and progress happens.
Here are 3 ways to shift blame to a solution-oriented focus in your relationships.
First, pause before reacting. When emotions run high, take a deep breath. Blame is often a reflex. If you stop and think before responding, you're less likely to say something harmful.
Second, use I statements instead of you statements. Saying you always ignore me makes your partner defensive. Instead, say, I feel disconnected when we don't spend time together. Can we fix that?
And third, focus on solutions, not fault. Instead of dwelling on who messed up, ask, how do we prevent this from happening again?
Blame doesn't fix anything, but working together will.
And this applies to dating, too.
If you're always blaming your ex for everything that went wrong, ask yourself, am I truly moving forward, or am I living in the past?
Exactly. One of the least desirable character traits in a dating partner is someone who's constantly blaming their ex. If all they do is talk about how terrible their last relationship was, they aren't really ready to show up better in their next relationship.
Because here's the truth. If you want to build a thriving relationship, you have to break the blame cycle and take responsibility for your part in every relationship dynamic.
So, let's recap. Blame feels good in the moment, but it damages relationships. It's not worth it. Blame creates distance, builds resentment, and keeps us stuck.
But when we focus on solutions, we build connection, trust, and respect. That's how relationships thrive, especially for those more complex companionships that form later in life, the kinds of clients that we coach as we support them in navigating those complexities.
If you found this helpful, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And let us know in the comments, how do you handle blame in a relationship?
And remember, when we let go of blame, we make room for love. And it's always a great time for more love in your life.
This video is sponsored by New Calm, an app that will support you in living your best life. Feeling stressed? No matter what your day throws at you, in just a few minutes you can feel recharged, centered, and ready to go. Try it for yourself and feel the difference. Click on the link in our video description. Thanks for joining us for another week on LilyTube. If you enjoy what you see, support us by liking, commenting, and sharing your favorite videos with others who could benefit.
As single life and relationship coaches, our mission is to help single adults intentionally heal from loss to create a happy life and healthy relationships. Keep coming back and we'll keep you encouraged. Each week, we provide new and refreshing perspectives on the challenges and opportunities of mid-single life.
If you'd like to immerse yourself deeper into your own personal development and relationship journey, visit our website at loveinlateryears.com for even more resources. Don't take on divorce recovery and other relationship loss and single life alone. We are here for you.